Okay, 4x60. Hey, it's Dancer from Dancer's Coins and Collectibles. I was out on the internet and YouTube, and I do go to other people's YouTube channels. I make comments, all that kind of thing. I like the new channels out there. I like the old channels out there. And one of the channels had something out there about this hoarding of, well, what they actually had was, they had made a comment, how come there's, they were describing, why are people putting coins, pennies in jars? And I thought they actually were, he had seen a couple of people do that. And I thought, well, no, this is, NC Stacker and I are doing the coin jar challenge where you're just putting coins in it and everything. So, I didn't fully understand, but then I went out there to take a look at all this hoarding stuff, this coin hoarding, this copper penny coin hoarding videos that are out there, and I decided to do a little bit of, you see what's in the background here, a little bit of look out there as to get myself up to speed, because I've heard this for a long time about how you should be hoarding. There, okay, that's okay. Copper coins, and I'm always sitting there going, why should we be hoarding copper coins? So I went out there, and so anything pre-1982 has 95% copper content. Everything 1982 and beyond, and there's some 1982s that have the 95%, but if you're going to do this, you want to take coins pre-1982, because that guarantees that they're 95% copper. And what they're saying is, copper, like silver and gold, copper's gone up such that the value of a penny is more than a penny now, because you can melt them down and make more money by melting them down. So I think they're 3 or 4 cents is what they're around, all that kind of stuff. So I took a look out there, and I said, well, I gotta find out about this. I gotta take a look at it and see what the general consensus is. And so the first one I found was Silver Wolverine was out there hoarding copper pennies. Cents to the extreme, the elimination of the Lincoln penny cent. And that was 3 years ago. Well, they keep on producing billions and billions and billions and billions of penny cents. So prediction way off. Lincoln pennies are still here. And they also strategized that there is more copper in, do we have one around here? No, I don't. So I'll just show the quarter. There's more copper in a $50 than there is in a penny. So instead of hoarding pennies, why wouldn't you hoard $50? Because there's more copper in $50. So I took that being out there for being, well, okay, way off on that, but it makes a good point. If you're going after copper, go after a coin that contains more copper in it than pennies. All right, so the second one out there is the heaviest proponent of hoarding copper pennies. 2 Sheds Gabby. That's this guy here. I really don't think this is 70 pounds of copper pennies. I don't know that he could lift 70 pounds of copper pennies. He might be really strong, but I thought that was kind of clicky bait there. And good following, a really good following, big following, lots of comments back to him, lots of people buying into this idea that he keeps on presenting week after week after week. If you hoard copper pennies, you'll become a millionaire, because the value is going to go up, 5, 6, 7, 8 cents per penny, and you will be able to retire comfortably, because you will have made so much money off the increase in the value of every single penny that you'll be able to retire and be able to do it easily. I did the numbers on it. I'll show you the numbers later as to how many copper pennies you'd have to save in order for that to be true. and it's an extraordinarily large amount of money. And I as you know on my channel, do what you say you're going to do. So when I show you coins, I go out, I buy the coins, that's it. If you're making statements like you can retire, then show me that you've retired, and you've retired because you've collected so many pennies and you've made so much profit off the pennies that you can do that. I know, not to be cruel or anything like that, but it's a weekly that keeps on pounding that if you hoard copper pennies, you will end up in good. And I just don't share that opinion. I just don't share the opinion. I'll tell you my reasons why a little bit later on after that. Then we go to Captain Coin Collector. Where's Captain Coin Collector? Why you should be hoarding copper pennies? Coin roll hunting for copper. And the captain goes through and he bought a $25 box of pennies, which is, I don't know, $25,000 pennies and everything like that. And he figured out that he separated the copper and the non-copper and everything. And he figured out that in that box, this is from 3 weeks ago, he would have profited $7.21 by melting the pennies down that were in that box. So $7.21 from a box of $25 box of copper pennies. And I just thought, wow, that doesn't seem to be a lot of money, a lot of return for what you're doing. And he didn't say how he was going to redeem them or anything of that nature. So there's that time value money type thing. So it's going on. It's 3 years to 3 weeks ago. And then what was the next one I went out to? Georgia Silver Hunter. Where's Georgia? Georgia GA Silver Hunter. Heck here. Why you should be hanging out all your copper pennies? Okay, they're all there. I thought, and this is from 2 years ago. For the most part, you're not supposed to melt. There's federal law out there that says you shouldn't be melting copper coins, copper pennies, with the hopes of profiting from, melting them down and getting more by melting them down and making a profit off that transaction. It's in the U.S. If you want to take these up to Canada, they'll gladly take them from you from Canada, this, that, and the other thing, and you can do it that way. But he goes through and kind of gives you ideas, not ideas. He shows you how to bypass the law, i.e., basically you need to melt them down and turn them into something else, like melt them into a copper bar, or copper round, or copper jewelry, or something of that nature, and then you can sell that for a profit, and that's how you can do it. He does mention, he's in, and it's a cute thing. He says, I know most people think I'm crazy, I'm nuts, because then you have to, in order to do that, you have to buy a smelter, money, and you have to spend your time, investment, and everything like that to get them into the bar and everything, money, and I agree. I agree with him completely on that. It just is, as you can see, for me, it just is not making sense as to what's going on there. So I did take a look then at how do you make money off this. And in 2006, there was a U.S. law that came out there. It said basically it's illegal to melt these coins and profit from the melting of them. My opinion, you will not receive a big, huge payback on hoarding copper pennies. I mean, there's a little bit here and there. Basically, they're worth 1 cent. If they go up to 4 cents, you're only making 3 cents per cent. And maybe I should bring this guy out there, right? 3 cents, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Okay, well, you see the point. I mean, just to get up to the quarter, you're right. Okay, all right. I think you see where I'm going on that. All right, so the final one that I went out there was U.S. Silver Stacker, and this was wow. Sold my Lincoln Memorial Horde for a nice profit, over 750 ounces of 95% copper. Great, and I'm looking, and look at this little box, got him all these silver coins. And okay, it wasn't, right? I mean, clickbait. So there were a lot of coins, and this is just a picture of silver coins. I did the numbers. I translated right now, you know, the 750 ounces and everything of that nature, and found out that if he had them melted, he would have gotten $195. So this is not $195 in silver. So I was kind of thrown off by that. But it proved the point that it's not this that gets you this. It's like all these things here that gets you that. So what I determined is, I said, if you want to retire, and you want to retire in comfort or anything, you should try and get to like $1 million, right? So in order to get to $1 million, and if these pennies, you could melt them for, if you could get 4 cents a piece for them, you would need to acquire 25 million pennies. Unrealistic. 25 million pennies to translate into basically $1 million cash. So I don't know. Good for you. 25 million pennies. It's unrealistic. Where do you store them? How heavy they are? How do you protect them? It just didn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. I just don't think it's worth it to do it. And if they're only worth 3 cents, then it's 33 plus million pennies that you have to do it. Another thing is, you take this in somewhere and you say, I want melt value for this. They won't give you melt value. There's always a deduction from it. There's always, the cost, their cost. I gotta make my cut out on it, this, that, and the other thing. So it take it into a coin dealer. Okay, I'll give you 2 cents. That's the reality of things that are included in here. And then again, the time value of money. To do these things, if you want to build your own smelter, you got to buy the smelter. You got to spend time learning how to use it, learning to, you have to actually do it, and then you have to sell it to somebody. It's all unrealistic. This is unrealistic to me. There's just no way that I'm going to make, and there's no way that I know anybody's going to make retirement off of hoarding copper pennies. I do have a suggestion, because I like to be upfront and everything with everybody and all that kind of stuff. I've got something else that I would suggest. Why don't you hoard quarters? These things? Why don't you hoard these things? Get to a full jar. You'll have more money here than you will in the same amount of if this thing was filled with pennies. At the end of when you get this done, take it into your bank or the Coinstar or wherever you want to take it into, cash it in, and guess what? You'll have a goodly amount of money, and you can actually spend that money on something else, like coins. Yes, at Dancer's Coins and Collectibles, we're all about coins. Coins, not hoarding coins. Saving coins until it gets full. Then you get a lot of money. And coins. All right. Get out there. If you're going to hoard this. Don't hoard this. Have a good week. I'll talk to everybody soon. Thank you so much. If you love the video, subscribe, comment, like it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.